board today. And nice to have Paul in as our guest. Looks like he's done a really nice job. Jeff, what are you looking at this week? Lots of ranges, mate. I thought you'd still be pretty happy.
Yeah, I am. No real issues. Hang on, I hope I've got my microphone open. I should have.
Yep, you're okay. Yep.
But as you know, the control panel has just gone missing for the moment.
Oh, it does.
There we go. It's back. Look, there are some nice ranges, and I hope to take advantage of some of those. We've already pointed out a few of them, but I've kind of got a theme about the week, and we had a theme about last week, which was going to be all about yen strength. And we had to wait quite some time, to be honest, but eventually it came good and we got into a few of those and still are. So that's going fine. This week is a little bit of a change up, but same theme. And the theme is Euro short this week. I've got a little thing about the Euro, but it's all come arse about with this chart. I want to go short Euro CAD, Euro pound. We'll get to those. But I want to go long Euro Aussie. And I know that's a little bit of a contradiction, but it seems to me, or it appears to me, and this is going to be the theme, of course, we're coming off big levels. And I think the big level on Euro Aussie is around about 161. We've already visited that. And we are unable to close above this trend line, which is coincidental or a convergence, if you like, with the horizontal level, which is about 161, as I said. So I think there's a little bit of upside here. I don't know how much, to be honest, and I don't think I want to trade this forever, but I can definitely see a few hundred pips available to us as a bounce off that level. So I'll be looking for that pretty much early in the week. I don't know that there's a trade there at the moment, but you can see that we've gone into a little bit of consolidation on the weekly chart. I get all of that. When you come back to this chart, you can see the range that we've been in forever, like this year, I mean. The whole of 2020 has been spent inside this range, apart from that big spike, which of course is COVID-19 when it was first introduced to the world. And since then, and that's the only time we've been out of that range. So I don't see why that should change. And if I go back to the smaller timeframes, which will coincide with this bounce back into that smaller timeframe range, which is evident on a 4-hour chart, all I need to see really is a significant higher low here. I haven't put in my weekly pivots for next week, so I really don't know whether they're going to be. I would imagine they will probably be around about here. So a little bit of a retest of well, a test, if you like, of the weekly pivot would suit along here. So that's my key play on Euro Aussie for the next few days. It will be long taking on the pivots here, back to the top of that range around about 163 mark. So there's not a whole lot available to us, maybe 150 pips, something like that. But I think that's pretty clear. Well, certainly in my mind, it's pretty clear that we are in bounce period. We're in a buy zone. And if you coincide those ranges that we're looking at, yep, I totally see that one going to the top around about the 1.63 mark, as I said. Euro CAD, continuing the theme is, well, the theme is quite different in terms of direction, but I just can't get this out of my head. And that's not necessarily a good thing as a trader, but it's totally reliant on this level here, which just cannot be broken. It's a bit of a cloud of a price, I've got to say that, to be honest, but I just can't see why we would now suddenly break above that level where we haven't been able to do so since we got below it back in 2010. And again, global financial crisis sent this down to the 124 mark. And since then, we've had a bit of a struggle, you would have to say, but continuously higher highs and higher lows on the monthly chart until we got to this level, surprise, surprise, which is about 140 or 159.50. And since then, we haven't been able to break it. And I don't see why Euro CAD, I think about that for 2 seconds and say, why would that break this level now? What's in play here? No, don't get it. So, okay, logical process comes into play here, and I get, well, okay, it's not going to, so let's go short. That's the whole process that's going on in my head. So all I need to do is find a way to get into that. Sorry. The weekly chart is a little bit on the confusing side because, as I've said for the last, I don't know how long, those of you in my group must be sick of me saying it, but I really saw a Batman mask here, and I saw this falling out of the sky pretty quickly, coming down to this level here around about the 142 mark. Hasn't done it, and that's and I heard Julian say earlier, which kind of tweaked it in my head. Why hasn't it? What's stopping it? And the euro is similar. You know, why hasn't it? Why hasn't it crashed? What's holding it up? And I can't answer that question honestly. But I still see the technical level, and I still see that big double top here, which is dominant on the chart. There's no question in my mind that that is the case. And there's still no question in my mind. And whilst ever that remains the case, I will still be looking for shorts here. And you can see the monthly pivot. What have we got? Another week to go in the month. You can see the monthly pivot has held price up for the longest time. And again, you have to ask yourself the question, well, okay, it hasn't been able to get above it, but why hasn't it bounced off it? And you go, oh, yeah, okay. But then you go back to here and you see, well, that's just so dominant, I can't believe it. Sorry, you can do what you like, but I've got to be looking for shorts here based on that rejection of what 159.50 or whatever it is. So I'm still looking for shorts here. I think we've been in this trade about 6 times, and we've made a little bit of money, but only a little bit of money, because it won't run away from us. It just will not follow through. So this week, same old, same old. I'll be looking for price to come down off these highs and give us a lower high. And if it does that, then we'll trade it again. And away we shall go for the 8th time or something like that. But I'm looking to pick up something substantial here. You know, if we can actually get into this move and it does go to where I think it can go, geez, there's a whole lot of pips available here. So that's the theory, and I think every single week for the last however long I've been sprawking this, and that won't change until we get above that black line. And I'm not saying it can't go there now, of course, and I'm not saying trade this on an hourly chart. What I am saying is over time, in my mind, this has to go down to here. It has to, from a technical perspective. So, as I say, that doesn't mean trade it now. Don't sell it right now. It's not the time. You've got to have a reason. You've got to have your system in place. You've got to have a reason to take the trade. And at the moment, it's just probably not there. Now, Euro Pound, very interested to hear what PH was saying about Euro Pound, and I totally agree with what he said. The one thing that that really gets me, however, and it's exactly the same level that he was talking about. You know, we're in here, haven't been here for the longest time, and now we're challenging that level again. But going back to exactly the same process that I used with Euro CAD, Euro Aussie, I don't see why now is the time that this would break that level. So I just don't understand what forces are in play that could make this go back to, hang on, how long we've got to go back? To go back to 2008, which was, again, global financial crisis, extenuating circumstances taking place here. So I've got to ask myself the question, why now? What's changed so much that this level is not going to hold? And for that reason, I'm still thinking it has to go short. And again, I'm on the monthly chart here. That doesn't mean you go and sell it tomorrow morning. What it does mean to me is I continue to look for a reason, and that will come in a reversal pattern or lower highs or lower lows and lower highs or whatever the case may be. So I'm looking for a lower high here right now off this high. And if I do see that, and in particular, if I've got a trend line or a trade line, as I call my little trading lines, then that's exactly the way I will go. totally see PH's point, and that close above the weekly pivot may mean that price is going to here. And I don't have an argument with that at all. But if it doesn't, and I do get the lower high that I'm looking for, then I'm short here pretty quickly. For, I think, not sure how many times I've traded this short in the last little bit either. But going again with the theme, and there have been a few talking about this one as well, and I feel like I'm repeating what has been talked about before, but I can't see Kiwi US dollar. And as I said before, I'm not happy to trade against the US or with the US dollar at the moment because I think it's a dog. I think it's just a ridiculous. No, I won't go on with that. I think it's a very difficult currency to trade with or against at the moment because really it's doing what it should be doing, in my humble opinion, and that's falling. But it also should rally, and that's what it's not doing. Yes, we're in consolidation at the moment, but it's really not doing what I expect a technical currency should do. It should be bouncing, it should be going, it should be rallying, and it's not. It just can't do it. So anyway, that's why I call it a dog at the moment. But I still think over time it's gone to the races. So anyway, the way I look at this is very much in the same vein. We are at a very, very strong resistance level. Everyone's telling me that the Kiwi interest rate will fall to 0. I don't see why that would make the currency rally. But again, it's dependent on what the US dollar is going to do as well. But I see this as a sell zone, and I can't get away from that. I think this is a good sell coming into the week. And again, all I'm looking for here is a little bit of bounce. Any time frame, doesn't matter what it is. Well, okay, not 30 seconds or not a minute or not even 30 minutes, but something substantial here. If we get a nice lower high, in particular, and again, I'm not sure where the weekly pivot's going to be. It will probably be in around about this position. If we got below that and retested the side of it, then I think that's a sell. Any lower high here, I think, is a sell anyway. But if you, in particular, if you break this big trend line that's going up here, break that, get underneath the monthly pivot in the next couple of days and retest it, put in the lower high, gee, I reckon that's a good sell. Kiwi US dollar. You'd probably have to do you'd probably have to do it before the announcement, Paul, and that's kind of going to be the aim. If we can get into that and be free trading come announcement time, then I think we'd be in a pretty good spot.
One thing about it, Jeff, there'll be no interest rate cuts on this week because the banks don't have the facility to do it. So what we're looking for is a stronger commitment to the fact it's coming from the Reserve Bank and the statement. There won't be a rate cut in New Zealand on Wednesday morning, but the statement will be pretty bearish, I think. Boy, they put out some economic information in New Zealand this week, and I always feel like New Zealand's a little bit ahead of the curve to most other countries because we have done better with coronavirus than most other countries.
You're not biased, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, look, we came out of that first lockdown, and boy, everything looked good. Everyone's spending money, and our housing market's it's off the planet high. My house price, my God, it's insane. But some economic numbers came out this week. 12.5% drop in GDP. There's certainly some stress on unemployment. Again, New Zealand's followed a lot of international countries now and having an unemployment system, which means that unemployment's not actually reported, which makes us a bit difficult at this time. If your household has more than $35,000, you're not eligible.
Yeah, hearing all that doesn't discourage me, that's for sure. If it's anything like Australia, if you work for 1 hour a week, you're counted as employed. Hello. Yeah,
look, honestly.
So what are the real numbers?
What are the real numbers? Yeah, that's exactly it, So any family that earns over 35,000 no one in the family can claim unemployment in New Zealand. So if your wife's got a job or your husband's got a job and you lose yours, according to the government, you're not employed. I don't speak government, I'm pleased to say. Mate, is that you for today? Are we on the Kiwi? Got one more.
It's called spin. No, yeah, I'm done, mate. That's my fall. Yeah.
Mate, I'm going to
bearish the euro and bearish the Kiwi. There you go.
Bearish the euro, bearish the Kiwi. So long the US dollar.
That's very reserved on that one.
gonna show you guys just gonna try and set this up again now because Zoom is doing the Zoom thing again. Look, I know that people who it's really easy to Zoom's amazing. Zoom is amazing. It's just that Zoom is also terribly difficult to deal with at times. I'm going to come over